I heard this and that on the internet about FEMA. You hear bad things about FEMA. Bad things about FEMA? I can only say good things about FEMA. When I was in the United States, um, and we got hit by a hurricane down in Florida, the first ones that responded to help the people of America down there in that state was FEMA and ones like it. And I've heard like these rumors about FEMA, but FEMA is one of America's greatest organizations. And to see how quickly they set up such um, these units for people to live in when they lost their accommodations or their properties and their homes that they owned and whatnot. They got that up, and that's something to be very appreciative of. If you've been on the rock bottom, that is not rock bottom. They've got you ready to go and they're taking care of you and you're going to make progress. You get your sleep, you wake up, if you need breakfast, you can have it. If not, you can start to move forward. Life sometimes is all about moving forward. And nowadays it's so easy to get to the point where you're humble or when you're, what's the word? Contempt. Contemption is a much easier thing nowadays. And a lot of the times the community will help you get to contemption nowadays. It's became a thing where um, we understand that folks have desires. And food is one thing, and there's other things like he needs glasses, and those are an expensive utility. And communities help people get glasses, even things of that nature. Any type of things, and that is a contemption for this man. He would not be contempt if he did not have his glasses. And what contempt means is if he was standing here, the same man he knew and he couldn't afford, he somehow didn't afford and got those and obtained those glasses. He just wasn't, he wouldn't have, how do I say, he wouldn't have felt contempt that day, happy. He wouldn't have been himself. Those are his glasses that so whatever, some people need help to get their glasses. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, or many other things, and that makes them happy to be who they are and whatnot. And that's one thing that is a very American thing to do, or that we have American organizations like not FEMA. FEMA is more a disaster, but even the Salvation Army and things like that. And when I was down in with the hurricane, they were one of the greatest to be to help you. Yeah, and what was I saying about uh, the Salvation Army? They're great, and they're all over the United States, all over North America, up to Canada, and back down. And they help people um, manage poverty and to be able to live properly, healthy, and a big thing was physical health, but then it became mental health became a big thing. And some people need certain things to have good mental health. And that is when it comes that is the definition sort of to go with contempt. You're being contempt, or you're having contemption with your life. You're so contempt with your life. You're happy. You have sort of all the clothes you wanted to have. You have that car you wanted to get. You maybe have that one ring you wanted to get. And you know what it is. Everybody just wants that one little thing. And that's how it's gotten for most of us. And if it hasn't, Salvation Army is there to help you. Now it's your responsibility to take that help, because I'm telling you, I'm one of the ones that the Salvation Army protected and helped, and now I am where I am. All because of the Salvation Army. They picked me up and stood me up, and now I look like a rootin' tootin' soldier. That's what, and people can't believe how clean I am, and my teeth are fixed, and I have this, and I even got a, and it's been a while now, and I have my own apartment with my mom, and we're very happy. And maybe even I can afford to donate a toy now. That's the turnaround. And I came from extreme poverty. I was in the homeless shelters where it's pretty bad. It's not the best living conditions. Now I have my own nice, um, and it all started here. I don't, you gotta be, and I could still be there, but I'm very lucky that the Salvation Army, as well as my mother and my father and other entities, have been so kind to me. My dad was there for me somewhat, as best as he could be, whatever. My mom was really there for me a lot of the time. She helped me get my new apartment with her. I was, everybody's trying their best. And I remember just thinking it was going to be forever in a shelter. And after a while, it isn't. For if you're young and you're hardworking and you're not even hardworking, but you're getting up every day, it next thing you know, it lands on your lap and you're somewhere. Save all the dollars you got. Next thing you know, you got enough for first and last in an apartment. They give you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The hardest part in there is everybody smoking marijuana and stuff. And you want to grab a 10 or a 20 or whatever. And then you get sick of it. Maybe this guy used to do that when he was a kid or whatever. And now he's at the age he's done of it. And he's sitting there and his money's collecting up in his bank account. One of these days, he's going to be in something nice, in an apartment. And you're like, you think that little small little nick of weed or whatever is going to make a big difference. It's not. You think that. Oh, I need my weed. But collect, if you would have quit your weed, you would have been in an apartment so quick, and then you're smoking weed in an apartment. And you're living like that. And you're that guy. You're no longer having to deal with these guys breathing down your neck. You have the full authority of a man in your apartment, sort of thing, to a certain degree. It's a lot more better than being in a homeless shelter. But look at how some of the homeless shelters are really nice, and you should be very appreciative. And I was very appreciative to be in the homeless shelters. I was in some great ones, and I was in some real bad ones too. Like some of them were real bad, some of them were real nice with the cleanliness. Um, some of them had pros and cons. Some of them had really good food, and some of them had better showers, and some of them had better beds, and some of them had better like timings where you could just rest, and some of them had TVs and things. I had never stayed in a homeless shelter or a shelter, or they just call it shelter. But I'm glad these things exist, and I had no idea these things existed until I had to go to a homeless shelter a few years back. I never even knew these things even existed in Canada. I never Googled homeless shelter in my entire life until I had to go to one. I didn't even know. I did a lot of research on concentration camps and things. I didn't know we even had homeless shelters. I heard of Salvation Army thrift shop, but I didn't know that there was these all these homeless shelters, and I had no idea everybody was on assistance a lot of the times and all that. And once I realized that, I seen what was going on with me, and I got picked up and assisted. And I met a lot of good people along the way. A lot of good people that stay in my ego all the time, where they were people that made me better. But you do not want to, well, there's all different people. Some people have to live in these conditions their whole life. They just never get out of it. But but I can teach you how to get out of it. And it's those things that I told you. You have to save all your money, refuse the drugs, even the coffees that you go buy at the Tim Hortons or the fast foods. And it's hard to do. Everybody's sitting around. Cigarettes. Everybody wants to smoke one. You got to be literally the guy in the corner, not talking to anybody. Hey, I'm sitting inside. Never go out to smoking. And you're saving and saving and saving. You don't tell nobody. And the next thing you know, you got enough for an apartment. If that's you, if you want to do that, sometimes you're so dang tired and whatever, and you've been roughed up and all that so much, you just want to get some sleep. You can't even think. Your brain is can't even think of an apartment. And they give you enough time. Trust me, you know what I mean. They'll give you enough time. And the food was great too. Is great all around the world.